Thank you. Can anyone eat? Can everyone hear me well? Good. Okay, let's get started. Good, this is not working. Perfect. Okay. At any given point in Canada, 20% of the population have mental health challenges. By age 40, 50% of the population at one given time in their lifetime has experienced mental health challenges. You received little pieces of paper today coming in. If you have a green circle on your card, please stand up. Okay. Good. 70% of the student population has mental health challenges. Look around. These can be your friends, your lab mates, the person sitting next to you, someone who trained you on the equipment you use regularly, your mentor, your summer student, your thesis student. If you have numbers 0 to 6, please stay standing. The rest of you can sit down. These are the number of students who need mental health support and seek mental health support. That means 63% of the student population needs mental health support and don't receive it. That leaves 63% of the population left in the dark. Thank you. Why is this important? Academic success and mental health can impact each other. If you're not succeeding in your academics, it can impact your mental health. And if you're having mental health challenges, you can't succeed in your studies. So it's a cycle, and we need to keep our mental health and well-being and keep that in mind to be able to succeed in our education. Why are only 10% of the people who need support seeking support? First, a lot of people don't meet diagnosis criteria, so they don't have a diagnosis. An example of this is people struggling with anxiety, but don't fitting the requirement needed to be diagnosed with anxiety disorder. A lot of times, mental health challenges or mental health illnesses don't get diagnosed or are misdiagnosed. A lot of people who have mental health challenges don't seek diagnosis. It's just not on their radar, and they don't care about it. And a lot of people who might have diagnosis don't identify with having a disability, so they don't seek extra support. And a lot of people wrongly think if they get support or they get accommodations, they get an unfair advantage. I want to highlight that this is wrong. There are several barriers to people seeking support. One is internal. A lot of people suffering from mental health disorders or having mental health challenges struggle from symptoms. That comes from either their mental health challenge or it might be associated with side effects from their medication. Psychological reasons are also what prevents them from seeking help. It can be internalizing blame or shame about their struggles. It can also be a result of their mental health challenges having lower self-esteem and not being able to navigate their day-to-day challenges and not having resilience. Another main problem is the social aspect. A lot of people are afraid of stigma and end up self-isolating themselves, and they don't reach out to seek support. Externally, And having an unsupportive culture means people don't seek out support. And fear of stigma is really one of the main reasons people don't end up reaching out. On the academic side, people have a perception of fairness, and a lot of people think if they seek accessibility services, it is an unfair advantage, which is not true. And a lot of people aren't informed about the services available. So what can we do? First is to educate ourselves. There are several mental health trainings available on campus. HIPAA on campus is available to all staff and all teaching staff and other staff members at the McMaster community. This training helps you recognize signs of distress, steps you need to take if you or someone close to you is experiencing or showing signs of distress, and helps destigmatize mental health conversations between professionals. Although this mental health training is more tailored towards people who need immediate support rather than including mental health and well-being in your day-to-day life. There's also mental health first aid training. We usually get emails about that, and it's a several-day training that you could attend. Another thing we could do is to raise mental health awareness. There are several mental health events and programs on campus. We have grad chats that's specifically tailored toward grad students. It's a student-led group and focuses on specific things that grad students experience, like imposter syndrome, anxiety, isolation, things like that. There are walk-in natures from student wellness. There are MAC Peers programs that pairs you with a student from psychology, and they will be providing you peer support. There are also a lot of treatment drop-ins, again, through wellness for ADHD, stress, things like that. Some of them require diagnosis, some of them don't. You can find out more about these programs through the Programs tab on Student Wellness on the website. Other services are also available on campus. The Student Wellness offers counseling, medical help. There are a lot of treatment groups and peer support programs. So I encourage you to look at the programs and see if there's anything that interests you. There's also student accessibility services. If you need any accommodations, they're always there to help. And we have staff on campus who have mental health first aid training. There's usually a sign on their office that shows they're trained to help you. The next tip is to stay connected and disconnect. By that I mean avoid self-isolation. It's really easy for us to get cooped up in our own research and what we're doing at that time, but try to connect with people, and creating and having a sense of community is really important. It's easier said than done, obviously, but try to have a community for yourself and have people in your corner. By disconnect, I mean take social media breaks. It's really easy for us to get into looking. LinkedIn is one of the major ones. You're just getting a snippet of people having major accomplishments, publishing papers, doing certificates, finishing programs, defending, finding a job. It's really easy to just look at those little snippets of people's lives and their accomplishments and forget that that is part of their day-to-day life, and there's like a bigger picture of their everyday life that's going on, and that's just a snippet that you see on social media. And take breaks from work. If it's just an hour, if it's just one day of your weekend, try to create that break and just not work and put that in your schedule. And trust me, if you go back to your work, you're going to be more productive. It's really easy to just work, and then having that break will help you refresh and get back and be more productive. My next tip is compare you to you. It's very easy, especially if you're a new grad student, to compare yourself to more senior students. So you come in, you see PhD students that are close to graduating, presenting so much data, so much work, and they've been working on it for 4 years, but you compare yourself to them. And that's not a fair comparison. So reflect on your own well-being and your own academic progress rather than comparing yourself to others. And use your skills of self-reflection, problem-solving, and help-seeking. That help might be help with experiments. It might not be specifically mental health support, but see where you need help and don't be afraid of asking for help. The worst thing you can hear is no, and that's like you didn't ask, so the risk isn't really high. And look for and share strategies and resources you find helpful. And my last tip is seek feedback. In grad school compared to undergrad, we don't receive constant feedback. In undergrad, you do tests, you do quizzes, you're constantly hearing back from your supervisor or your teachers how you are doing, but that's not the case in grad school, and if you're not sure, ask for feedback. My last tip is to combat stigma. Talk openly about mental health and be conscious of your language, and encourage the equality of physical and mental health. Both are part of your well-being. Both have impact on your academic and professional success. So pay attention to both. My final note is don't feel threatened by mental health problems. Talk to colleagues, talk to more experienced faculty members and staff, and seek support and advice. I'd like to invite you for a moment of reflection. Coming out of this seminar, how are you going to prioritize your mental health? Have you developed skills to navigate mental health challenges? What are those skills? Highlight them, use them. What would you do to support a colleague in need of immediate support? Thank you for your attention.